The discovery. Dr. Elena Reyes squinted at the holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the swirling quantum patterns before her. The lab hummed with the low thrum of machinery, punctuated by the occasional beep of monitoring equipment. She ran a hand through her short, curly hair, a habit she developed during long nights of research. "This can't be right," she muttered, tapping furiously at the console. The quantum entanglement experiment had yielded results far beyond anything she'd expected. According to the data, she hadn't just linked two particles across space, she'd somehow connected them across dimensions. A knock at the lab door startled her from her reverie. "Come in," she called, not taking her eyes off the display. Dr. Amit Sharma, her colleague and friend, entered the lab. His usually neat appearance was disheveled, and his eyes were wide with excitement. "Elena, you need to see this. Now." She turned, sensing the urgency in his voice. "Amit, what's going on? I'm in the middle of something big here." He shook his head, grabbing her arm. "Trust me, this is bigger. The whole world is about to change." Confused but intrigued, Elena followed Amit to the main atrium of the research facility. A crowd had gathered around the massive screen that dominated one wall. As they pushed their way to the front, Elena's jaw dropped. The screen showed a live feed from orbit. A massive ship, easily the size of a small city, hovered above Earth. Its design was like nothing humanity had ever created, all smooth curves and iridescent surfaces that seemed to shift and change as they watched. A voice crackled over the facility's speakers. "This is an emergency broadcast. At 900 hours GMT, an unidentified object entered Earth's orbit. At 9:30 hours, we received our first communication from what we now know to be an alien vessel. All citizens are advised to remain calm and await further instructions." The room erupted in a cacophony of voices, shock, fear, and excitement mingling in the air. Elena stood frozen, her mind racing. Her experiment, the alien ship, could they be connected? Before she could voice her thoughts, the screen flickered, and a new image appeared. The being on the screen was humanoid, but clearly not human. Its skin was a pale lavender, with intricate patterns swirling across its surface. Large, almond-shaped eyes dominated its face, gleaming with an intelligence that sent a shiver down Elena's spine. "People of Earth," the alien began, its voice resonating with a melodic quality that seemed at odds with the gravity of the situation. "I am High Commander Zarkon of the Zarkonian Empire. We have been observing your world for some time, and recent developments have forced us to make our presence known." The alien paused, its gaze seeming to pierce through the screen. "Your species has reached a critical juncture. The quantum technology you are developing poses a significant threat to the balance of power in our galaxy. We cannot allow it to progress unchecked." Elena's heart raced. They knew about her work. Somehow they knew. "We offer you a choice," Zarkon continued. "Cease all quantum research immediately and submit to Zarkonian rule, or face annihilation. You have 48 Earth hours to comply. Choose wisely." The screen went black, plunging the atrium into stunned silence. Amit turned to Elena, his face pale. "What do we do?" Elena's mind was already racing, connecting dots and formulating plans. "We fight," she said, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. "And we use every bit of knowledge we have to do it." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the facility. Security personnel rushed into the atrium, ushering people towards designated safe areas. Elena grabbed Amit's arm, pulling him back towards her lab. "Elena, what are you doing?" Amit hissed as they ducked into a side corridor, avoiding the flow of panicked researchers. "Think about it, Amit," she said, her eyes blazing with determination. "They're here because of my research. That means we have something they fear. We might have stumbled onto the key to fighting back." They reached her lab, and Elena quickly locked the door behind them. She rushed to her computer, fingers flying over the keyboard as she initiated emergency data backup protocols. But how? Amit asked, pacing nervously. They're clearly far more advanced than we are. How can your quantum entanglement experiments possibly help against a spacefaring empire? Elena paused, turning to face her friend. Because, Amit, I think I just discovered how to communicate and possibly even transport matter instantaneously across any distance. If I'm right, we could coordinate a global defense faster than they can react. We could evacuate entire cities in seconds if needed. Amit's eyes widened as the implications sank in. That's incredible, but also terrifying. No wonder they want to stop us. A loud bang on the lab door made them both jump. Dr. Reyes, a voice called out. This is General Williams of the Joint Chiefs. We need you to come with us immediately. Elena and Amit exchanged glances. This was it, the moment where everything would change. Coming, Elena called back. She turned to Amit, her expression resolute. Whatever happens, we can't let them get this research. It might be humanity's only hope. Amit nodded, straightening his lab coat. I'm with you, Elena, all the way. As they opened the door to face whatever came next, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of terror and exhilaration. Humanity was about to be thrust onto a galactic stage, ready or not. And somehow, she found herself at the center of it all. The next few hours passed in a blur of high-security briefings, frantic data transfers, and hurried explanations of quantum theory to military personnel who looked increasingly out of their depth. Elena found herself whisked away to a secure underground facility where the world's leaders were gathering to formulate a response to the Zarkonian ultimatum. As she entered the command center, a hush fell over the room. Dozens of eyes turned to her, a mix of hope and desperation evident in their gazes. She recognized faces from news broadcasts, the US president, the Chinese premier, the Russian president, and many others. They all looked to her now, as if she held the key to humanity's survival, which, she realized with a jolt, she might actually do. Dr. Reyes, a tall, stern-looking woman in a crisp military uniform, approached her. I'm Admiral Chen of the United Nations Space Command. We understand your research may be crucial to our defense. Can you explain, in layman's terms, what exactly you've discovered? Elena took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. Admiral, ladies and gentlemen, she began, her voice stronger than she felt. My team has been working on pushing the boundaries of quantum entanglement. In simple terms, we found a way to link particles not just across space, but potentially across dimensions. She paused, letting that sink in. The implications are enormous. We could potentially communicate or even transport matter instantaneously across any distance. No delay, no signal degradation. It would revolutionize everything from communications to space travel. The room erupted in murmurs. Admiral Chen held up a hand for silence. And you believe this is why the Zarkonians are here? They want to stop this research. Elena nodded. It seems likely. This technology could level the playing field between us and any advanced alien civilization. They'd probably see it as a threat to their dominance. The US president stepped forward, his face grim. So, Doctor, the question is, can your discovery help us fight back? Can we use it to defend Earth? Elena hesitated. The weight of the entire human race seemed to rest on her next words. Potentially, yes, she said carefully. If we can scale up the technology quickly enough, we could coordinate a global defense network that operates faster than any alien system. We could also potentially develop weapons or shields based on the principles of quantum entanglement. She saw hope dawn in the eyes of those around her, but she quickly tempered it. However, we're talking up theoretical applications of a very new discovery. Developing practical, combat-ready systems in 48 hours, it's a monumental task. The Russian president spoke up, his voice gruff. We have no choice. It's either that or surrender to alien rule. I say we fight. A chorus of agreement echoed through the room. Admiral Chen turned back to Elena. Dr. Reyes, you'll have every resource at humanity's disposal. Whatever you need, you'll get. Can you do this? Elena felt the enormity of the task before her, the fate of humanity resting on her shoulders. But as she looked around the room, seeing the determined faces of leaders from every corner of the globe, she felt a surge of pride and resolve. "We can," she said firmly, "and we will. Humanity isn't going down without a fight." As the room erupted in activity, Elena's mind was already racing, formulating plans and calculations. They had 48 hours to turn a theoretical quantum breakthrough into humanity's salvation. The clock was ticking, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. But for the first time since the alien ship appeared, Elena felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had faced extinction before, from ice ages to plagues to their own nuclear weapons. Each time, they had survived through ingenuity, cooperation, and sheer determination. This time would be no different. The Zarkonians had no idea what they were in for. Humanity was about to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. As Elena was ushered to a hastily assembled quantum research lab, she allowed herself a small smile. The next 48 hours would define the future of humanity. And she was ready for the challenge, the alliance. The next 36 hours were a blur of frantic activity. Dr. Elena Reyes found herself at the center of a global effort unlike anything in human history. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel from every nation worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Elena's makeshift lab hummed with energy, both literal and metaphorical. Quantum computers crunched numbers at mind-boggling speeds, while holographic displays flickered with ever-changing schematics and simulations. "Dr. Reyes," a deep voice called from the lab entrance. Elena looked up from her workstation, blinking away the fatigue that threatened to overwhelm her. A tall, broad-shouldered man in a naval uniform stood there, his presence commanding attention despite the chaos of the lab. "I'm Captain Axel Thorne," he said, striding towards her with purpose. "I've been assigned to oversee the practical applications of your tech." Elena raised an eyebrow. "With all due respect, Captain, I'm not sure how much help you can be with quantum physics." Thorne's lips quirked in a half smile. "I'm not here for the physics, Doctor. I'm here to make sure whatever you cook up can be used in the field. Theory is great, but we need results fast." Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red emergency lights bathed the lab in an eerie glow. "What's happening?" Elena shouted over the din. Thorne's hand went to his sidearm, his expression grim. "Perimeter breach. Looks like our new alien friends decided not to wait for our answer." As if on cue, the far wall of the lab exploded inward. Through the smoke and debris, Elena caught glimpses of sleek, metallic forms advancing, Zarkonian shock troops. "Get down," Thorne yelled, tackling Elena to the ground as energy beams sizzled overhead. The lab erupted into chaos. Human security forces engaged the alien intruders, the air filled with the sharp crack of gunfire and the high-pitched whine of energy weapons. Elena's mind raced. They couldn't lose the research. It was humanity's only hope. She crawled towards her main computer terminal, desperately trying to initiate the data purge protocols. A Zarkonian soldier loomed over her, its weapon charging for a killing blow. Suddenly, the alien staggered back, purple blood spraying from its chest. Captain Thorne stood behind it, his pistol smoking. "Come on," he shouted, grabbing Elena's arm and hauling her to her feet. "We need to get you out of here." As they ran, Elena glanced back at her workstation. The data purge was complete. The Zarkonians wouldn't get their hands on her research. But without it, how could humanity hope to fight back? Thorne led her through a maze of corridors, the sounds of battle echoing behind them. They burst through an emergency exit into the cool night air. A sleek, experimental aircraft waited on a nearby landing pad, its engines already spooling up. "Your chariot awaits, Doctor," Thorne said, ushering her towards the craft. As they strapped in, Elena's mind whirled. "Where are we going?" she asked as the aircraft lifted off, accelerating at a rate that pushed her back into her seat. Thorne's eyes were fixed on the controls. To our last hope, he said Brinley. The Nexus. Helena's eyes widened. The Nexus was more myth than reality. A rumored ultra-secret facility where the world's brightest minds worked on projects too advanced or dangerous for public knowledge. It's real, she breathed. Thorne nodded. Very. And it's where we're going to win this war. As their aircraft streaked across the night sky, Elena saw flashes of light in the distance. The battle for Earth had begun. She closed her eyes, sending up a silent prayer for those they'd left behind. Hours later, they descended into a massive hangar built into the side of a mountain. As the aircraft's engines wound down, Elena marveled at the scene before her. The cavernous space buzzed with activity, scientists, soldiers, and strange prototype vehicles unlike anything she'd ever seen. "Welcome to the Nexus, Dr. Reyes," a familiar voice called out. Elena turned to see Admiral Chen striding towards them, looking haggard but determined. "Admiral," Elena nodded. "I'm afraid I don't have good news. The lab was attacked. We lost everything." Chen's expression remained impassive. "Not everything, Doctor. We have you. And we have this." She gestured around the hangar. "The Nexus is humanity's failsafe, a collection of our most advanced tech and brightest minds. And now it's our last line of defense." Elena's scientific curiosity warred with her fear and exhaustion. What exactly is this place? "Follow me," Chen said, leading them deeper into the facility. They entered a vast circular chamber dominated by a holographic projection of Earth. Swarms of red dots, Zarkonian ships, surrounded the blue globe. "The situation is grim," Chen explained. "The Zarkonians have begun a full-scale invasion. Conventional weapons are barely slowing them down." Elena studied the hologram, her mind already racing with possibilities. "If I had access to a quantum supercomputer, I might be able to recreate some of my work, maybe even improve on it." Thorne stepped forward. "You'll have more than that, Doctor. Show her, Admiral." Chen nodded and pressed a button on a nearby console. The floor in the center of the room split open, and a massive device rose from below. It was like no computer Elena had ever seen, a spherical lattice of pulsing light and intricate circuitry. "This," Chen said with a hint of pride, "is the Quantum Nexus Core, the most powerful computer ever built by human hands. It's yours, Dr. Reyes." Elena approached the device, awe and excitement temporarily overshadowing her fatigue. "With this, we might have a chance," she breathed. "Then let's get to work," Thorne said, his voice filled with grim determination. "Earth is counting on us." Over the next few days, Elena worked tirelessly, pushing the boundaries of her research with the help of the Quantum Nexus Core. She made breakthroughs that would have taken years under normal circumstances. The first major victory came when they managed to establish instantaneous communication with resistance cells around the globe. Suddenly, humanity could coordinate its defense with unprecedented speed and efficiency. But it wasn't enough. The Zarkonians' technological advantage was too great. Cities fell, millions died or were captured. The holographic globe in the command center became a sea of red, with only a few pockets of blue resistance remaining. Elena knew they needed something more, a way to not just defend, but to strike back. The answer came to her in a moment of inspired desperation. If they could entangle particles across dimensions, could they create a weapon that phased in and out of normal space-time? A weapon the Zarkonians couldn't defend against because it essentially didn't exist until the moment of impact. She presented her idea to the Nexus think tank. The debates were fierce, the ethical implications staggering. But in the end, with the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, they decided to move forward. Project Phantasm was born. As Elena and her team worked to bring the theoretical weapon into reality, Captain Thorne coordinated with what was left of Earth's military forces. They would only get one shot at this. Everything had to be perfect. Weeks passed. The Zarkonian conquest of Earth was nearly complete. The Nexus, hidden and shielded by experimental technology, was one of the last bastions of free humanity. And then, finally, a breakthrough. "It works," Elena announced to the assembled leaders, her voice hoarse from exhaustion but tinged with excitement. "We've successfully created and detonated a phantasm device in a controlled test." The room erupted in cheers, the first real celebration since the invasion began. But Elena held up a hand for silence. "There's a catch," she continued. "The power requirements are enormous. We'll only be able to create a handful of these devices, and there's no guarantee there'll be enough to turn the tide." Admiral Chen stepped forward. "Then we'll have to make them count. Captain Thorne, what's the status of Operation Thunderbolt?" Thorne activated a holographic display showing a massive Zarkonian command ship in orbit. The Zarkonian flagship, the Eternal Dominion, has taken up position over what used to be New York. Our intelligence suggests that High Commander Zarkon himself is aboard, overseeing the final stages of the invasion. He turned to face the group, his eyes blazing with determination. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take that ship, and we're going to use it to deliver our little surprise to the entire Zarkonian fleet." The room fell silent as the enormity of the plan sank in. It was audacious, desperate, and probably suicidal. It was also their only hope. Elena felt a mix of terror and exhilaration. This was it, the moment that would decide the fate of humanity. As she looked around at the determined faces of Earth's last defenders, she knew that win or lose, humanity would not go quietly into the night. The Zarkonians had come expecting an easy conquest. Instead, they were about to learn why you should never, ever underestimate human ingenuity and determination. Operation Thunderbolt was a go. The final battle for Earth was about to begin, the confrontation. Operation Thunderbolt began under the cover of darkness. A small team, led by Captain Thorne and Dr. Elena Reyes, infiltrated the Zarkonian flagship, the Eternal Dominion. Their mission: to plant the phantasm devices and turn the alien vessel into humanity's secret weapon. As they crept through the ship's eerie, biomechanical corridors, Elena marveled at the advanced technologies surrounding them. "Focus, Doc," Thorne whispered, sensing her distraction. "We're not here for a science field trip." They reached the ship's central power core, a massive chamber pulsing with otherworldly energy. Elena set to work, interfacing their quantum tech with the alien systems. Suddenly, alarms blared. "We've been made," Thorne shouted, laying down cover and fire as Zarkonian troops poured into the chamber. Elena worked frantically, her fingers flying over her portable quantum interface. "Almost there," she muttered. "Just a few more seconds." A massive figure emerged from the chaos, High Commander Zarkon himself. His eyes locked onto Elena, recognition and fury evident in his alien features. "You," he roared, "the quantum scientist. I should have eradicated your entire species the moment we detected your experiments." Thorne stepped between Elena and Zarkon, his weapon trained on the alien leader. "Why don't you pick on someone your own size, ugly?" As the two engaged in combat, Elena completed the interface. The ship shuddered, its systems overtaken by human quantum tech. "It's done," she yelled. Thorne disengaged from Zarkon, sprinting back to Elena. He slapped a device on her wrist, identical to one on his own. "Extraction beacon," he explained. "Hold on tight." As Zarkon lunged towards them, they vanished in a flash of quantum energy, teleported back to the Nexus Command Center. Admiral Chen was waiting for them. "Report," she demanded. Elena, still catching her breath, managed a smile. "It worked. The Eternal Dominion is ours." Chen nodded, turning to the command center's main screen. "Then let's finish this." With a command from Chen, the hijacked Zarkonian flagship activated its phantasm payload. Across the globe, Zarkonian ships began to explode, taken out by weapons that phased into existence moments before impact. The tide had turned. Humanity, on the brink of extinction, had snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. As the last Zarkonian ship fell from the sky, Chen turned to Elena and Thorne. "Well done, both of you. but our work is just beginning. Elena nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. The quantum tech, the alien artifacts we've acquired, we could leap forward centuries in development. Thorne grinned, clapping her on the shoulder. Always a scientist, Doc. But you're right, humanity's stepping onto a much bigger stage now. As they watched the sun rise over a liberated Earth, Elena felt a sense of profound change. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger than ever. The galaxy would never be the same again. The revolution. In the months following humanity's victory over the Zarkonians, Earth underwent a radical transformation. Dr. Elena Reyes found herself at the forefront of a technological revolution, integrating quantum and alien tech into every aspect of human society. "We're making incredible progress," Elena reported to the newly formed Global Science Council. "Our quantum communication network now extends throughout the solar system. We've established outposts on Mars, Europa, and Titan in a matter of months." Captain Thorne, now Admiral Thorne, nodded approvingly. "And our defenses?" "Stronger than ever," Elena assured him. "The quantum shield network can detect and neutralize threats light years away." But their progress hadn't gone unnoticed. 6 months after the Zarkonian defeat, a new alien fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. Earth braced for another invasion. To everyone's surprise, the aliens sent a diplomatic envoy instead. "We are the Galactic Confederation," the alien ambassador, a being of swirling energy, announced to the United Earth government. "We've come seeking alliance, not conquest." Elena and Thorne exchanged glances. This was unexpected. The ambassador continued, "Your defeat of the Zarkonians has upset the balance of power in our galaxy. Many oppressed species now look to Earth as a symbol of hope. We propose a partnership." Over the next few weeks, Earth's leaders debated the offer. Elena found herself acting as a scientific and cultural liaison, working closely with the alien diplomats. "It's fascinating," she told Thorne one evening, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Their understanding of the universe is so different from ours, yet complementary. Together, we could unlock secrets we've only dreamed of." Thorne smiled, but his eyes were serious. "Just remember, Doc, we need to be careful. We've only just recovered from one alien encounter." Elena nodded, sobered by the reminder. "You're right, but I can't help feeling this is the start of something amazing." As negotiations progressed, it became clear that humanity's quantum technology was the key to their new role in the galaxy. The ability to communicate and potentially travel instantaneously across vast distances made Earth a crucial ally. Finally, after months of talks, Earth officially joined the Galactic Confederation. As Elena watched the alien and human diplomats sign the historic treaty, she felt a sense of awe. Humanity had not only survived its trial by fire, but emerged as a major player on the galactic stage. The universe, it seemed, was full of wonders, and humanity was now poised to explore them all. The new era. 5 years after Earth joined the Galactic Confederation, Dr. Elena Reyes stood on the observation deck of Quantum Nexus Station, a massive space habitat orbiting Jupiter. The station served as humanity's primary research center and diplomatic hub for interstellar relations. Elena watched as ships from a dozen different alien species docked at the station. Each brought new knowledge, new technologies, and new challenges. It was a far cry from the days when humanity huddled in fear of alien invasion. "Quite a view, isn't it?" Admiral Thorne's voice came from behind her. Elena turned, smiling at her old friend and colleague. "Never gets old," she agreed. "Sometimes I still can't believe how far we've come." Thorne nodded, his eyes scanning the bustling activity outside. "We've made quite a name for ourselves out there. The species that beat the Zarkonians. The quantum pioneers. And yet, we've still got so much to learn," Elena mused. "Every day brings new discoveries, new questions." Their conversation was interrupted by a young lieutenant. "Doctor, Admiral," she said, saluting. "You're needed in the command center." We've received a priority message from the Confederation Council. In the command center, a holographic projection of the Confederation's High Counselor, a crystalline being named Zix, hovered above the central table. "Greetings, friends," Zix's melodious voice resonated. "We face a grave crisis. A spatial anomaly has been detected in the Andromeda galaxy. It's growing rapidly, consuming entire star systems." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "What kind of anomaly?" she asked. "Unknown," Zix replied, "but it resists all conventional methods of analysis or containment. We believe your quantum technology may be our best hope of understanding and stopping it." Thorne leaned forward. "You want us to lead a mission to Andromeda?" "Precisely," Zix confirmed. "Earth's quantum nexus technology, combined with the Confederation's most advanced ships, represents our best chance. Will you accept this challenge?" Elena and Thorne exchanged glances. The mission would be dangerous, pushing the boundaries of their technology and knowledge. But it also represented an unprecedented opportunity for discovery and to cement humanity's place in the galactic community. "We accept," Elena said firmly. The next few months were a whirlwind of preparation. A joint human-alien crew was assembled, and a fleet of ships was outfitted with the latest quantum tech. Elena found herself appointed as the mission's chief scientist, working alongside representatives from a dozen alien species. As the day of launch approached, Elena stood before the assembled crew. Humans and aliens alike looked to her for guidance and inspiration. "We stand at the threshold of the unknown," she began, her voice carrying across the hushed auditorium. "What we face in Andromeda may challenge everything we think we know about the universe. But that's why we're here. To push boundaries, to seek understanding, and to protect life in all its diverse forms across the cosmos." She paused, looking out at the sea of faces, some human, some utterly alien, all united in purpose. "Humanity's journey to the stars began in fear and conflict," she continued, "but it continues in curiosity, cooperation, and hope. Whatever we face out there, we face it together. For Earth, for the Confederation, for the future of all sentient life." A roar of approval, in many voices and languages, filled the air. As Elena boarded the flagship, named Quantum Leap, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. They were about to embark on the greatest adventure in human history, facing an unknown threat that could reshape the very fabric of space-time. Admiral Thorne joined her on the bridge, standing tall in his uniform. "Ready to make history, Doc?" he asked with a grin. Elena nodded, her eyes fixed on the starfield visible through the ship's quantum viewport. "Always," she replied, "though I have a feeling this is just the beginning." As the fleet prepared for its quantum jump to Andromeda, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought humanity to this point. From a species on the brink of extinction to pioneers of a new age of galactic exploration and cooperation. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that human ingenuity, determination, and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge would see them through. The order was given. In a flash of quantum energy, the fleet vanished from the Milky Way, bound for new adventures and discoveries in Andromeda. Humanity's next great leap had begun. Epilogue. The swirling vortex of the anomaly filled the view screen of the Quantum Leap. Shimmering tendrils of energy reached out across the star-studded expanse of Andromeda, hungrily consuming everything in their path. Dr. Elena Reyes stood at the center of the bridge, her face illuminated by the eerie glow of the phenomenon. Years had passed since they'd left Earth, but the fire of determination still burned bright in her eyes. "Final checks complete," Admiral Thorne announced, his voice steady despite the tension palpable in the air. "All ships report ready." Elena nodded, her gaze fixed on the roiling chaos before them. "Activate the quantum nexus core," she commanded. The ship hummed to life, energy coursing through its systems. Around them, the rest of the fleet took up formation, a united front of human and alien vessels representing the combined knowledge and technology of 100 worlds. "Whatever happens," Elena said, addressing the crew, "remember this moment. We stand here not just as humans, but as representatives of life itself, united against the unknown. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of countless lives, both in Andromeda and back home, resting on their shoulders. Initiate the quantum field. A shimmering bubble of energy expanded from the quantum leap, enveloping the entire fleet. As it touched the edges of the anomaly, reality itself seemed to bend and warp. "This is it," Thorne said softly, standing at Elena's side. "No turning back now." Elena allowed herself a small smile. When has humanity ever turned back from the unknown, Axel? With a final surge of power, the fleet pushed forward into the heart of the anomaly. Light, sound, and the very fabric of space-time twisted around them. As they plunged into the unknown, Elena felt a profound sense of awe and purpose. Whatever they discovered on the other side of this cosmic mystery, humanity had proven itself ready to face the greatest challenges the universe could offer. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.